So Tesla is down just as expected. We talked about this today, the possibility that it could come down. And I mean, I didn't expect 6% down, to be honest, but I'm not super surprised either. So let me just talk about the reasons why the stock is down. But before that, I want to talk about what it isn't. So a lot of people are going to be claiming that this is because the media is misconstruing, that they missed deliveries. Even Phil LeBeau from CNBC was talking about this stuff yesterday. He got dunked on. People see through this, investors see through this, analysts see through this. This is not the reason why Tesla is down. And claiming otherwise is a little bit naive. You know, like analysts or Wall Street hedge fund managers, they can see through this. They're smart enough. So anyway, there's two reasons why Tesla is down today. And one of them is inventories. And we talked about this yesterday, but it's better to see it in a graph. Look at the buildup in inventories in the last 4 months. So we're already at 75K in inventories, and that is about 16 days, maybe even 17 days of sales. So yeah, this is not a good position to be in, but I understand why it's happening. As they ramp up deliveries, inventories are typically just gonna build up because they're just ramping so much faster than before. So I understand it, but at some point it has to stop. And I know it's gonna come up, so let me just go ahead and look at it. So there's this graph that's gonna be circulating today on Twitter. And this graph is just expressing inventories as a percentage. And as you can see, as a percentage of deliveries or of production, it's at 20%. And this is just incorrect in the sense that the standard days of sales is how we measure inventories in the auto industry. So, but one thing that we can clearly see here is that despite production and delivery increasing, we can see that inventory buildup has been a seasonal thing for the last I don't know how many years, and there's gonna be a seasonally high amount of inventories building up at the beginning of the year naturally. So the only exception to that would be last year, but we had the Fed printing money here like crazy, so this is not a typical scenario. This percentage of production is kind of like incorrect, but it is useful to see the seasonality of inventory buildup. So anyway, moving right along, the main reason for the stock being down, and I mean Dan, I've said this yesterday, it's pretty much the gross margins. Even though we're getting really good deliveries, the gross margins are a big question mark, and this is gonna be the big issue for this year. The margins coming higher or lower, it's gonna make all the difference in terms of whether we beat or we miss Wall Street estimates. This is the name of the game for Tesla stock this year. To give you an idea of why gross margins are so important, we can see that in the last I don't know how many days, every single analyst has brought down their estimates for Q1 earnings, and we can see that we're at 0.86 EPS now. And this is not a horrible number. This implies 20% gross margins approximately. To give you an idea of how important gross margins are, if we were to come at 25%, we would all of a sudden go from this number right here to 1.18 EPS. And that would be almost a 40% beat. A massive beat in EPS. That's how important gross margins is. Conversely, if we come the other way and we miss in gross margins, the miss is gonna be catastrophic to say the least. So anyway, the only thing that matters right now in the grand scheme of things is Tesla's net income. And Tesla's net income, as we can see, has been going up a lot in the last year. So the reason gross margins and inventories, to be honest, are so important is because they will affect net income directly. You know, if gross margins come very low, then net income all of a sudden comes very low as well. You know, depends, right? Depends how big or low. In fact, if we come below, I don't know, 15 to 13% gross margins, and that sort of eradicates all the net income. We come back to the 2020 level. So that would not be ideal, obviously. Net income is the name of the game, and as a consequence of that, gross margins is the name of the game this year. So watch out for gross margins in the grand scheme of things. I'm not too worried about, because you see that the trend is that income will go up as we deliver more, and we still don't know the efficiencies that the factories in Texas and Berlin are gonna bring, because if cost of goods sold are down enough, then gross margins are gonna be fine and we're gonna beat. So I wanted to explain why Tesla is down today. It's not about the media, it's not about anybody misconstruing anything, it's all about gross margins and a little bit of worries about inventories. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.